Okay, listen carefully and watch carefully the lineup that I will put you here on screen. It's the best lineup of Serie A 23-24, not made by fans, not by journalists, not by votes, but by Opta, data collector and analyst, official one, the biggest one of Serie A, but also from the top leagues in the world. Pay attention because I will show you, and at the end of the video, today you will have to wait until the end of the video, I will give you a feeling about that lineup. Not only about that lineup, but the way of working of Cristiano Giuntoli. Extremely interesting. Look at the lineup. 3-4-2-1. Di Gregorio in goal. Bremer, Calafiori, Bastoni in defense. Bellanova, Canaloglu, Koopmeiners, Di Marco in the middle. Behind the striker, Pulisic, Gudmundsson, and then on top, Lautaro Martinez. If you're really curious, remain until the end of the video. I know that you are also curious about something else. Beppe, when? When will Thiago Motta finally be announced as the Juventus Football Club coach? Well, you will have to wait a bit more. I have always told you, not before the 1st of June. Not before the month of June, not before the 1st of June. Well, today, Gazzetta dello Sport, they are saying Motta will be announced only in June. Nearly sure, probably sure, we will have to wait one more week, if not 10 days before the official announcement. Guys, everything can happen, and tomorrow he can be presented as the coach of Juve. But what I was telling you, well, we are starting to see confirmation also by the experts of Mercato, by the experts of Italian football. Guys, if you were doubting about the channel, if you were not convinced until today to subscribe to the channel, it's the moment to do it. If you want this kind of anticipation, if you were putting in doubt the authenticity of this channel, is the moment we do it, because at the moment we have 29,852 Juventini of the world on this channel. We are missing 148 as we speak to reach our big dream before the end of May, 30,000 Juventini. It's the moment to share this channel, to comment, to put a maximum of like, but don't worry. Thiago Motta will be the coach of Juventus. There is absolutely no doubt on that. Confirmed by everyone, and also this morning reconfirmed by Fabrizio Romano, that said Juventus has sent all the documents to Thiago Motta. He will sign, he will review, of course, he will sign it for a 3-year contract, and the deal has already been agreed since last week. We are just waiting for official announcement by Juventus, but no doubt on that, Thiago Motta will be the coach. Where is he at the moment? After going to meet and to watch and to be there together with Mama and Papa in Barcelona, he took the plane, he went to Portugal to stay with his family, wife and kids. Refreshing memory, having clear-minded ideas before starting his journey with Juventus, a clear-minded vision, strategy that Juventus is having. The man, Cristiano Giuntoli, he already knows what he wants to do. He already have everything clear in his mind, and if you doubt about it, well, look at it. We are the 27th of May. Cambiaso and Rugani already extended. Thiago Motta is the coach of Juventus, and it's not new. It's not like we go for Thiago Motta. It's already something that is in his mind since months and months and months. On top of that, we have some players. Di Gregorio. We saw it. It's not a secret anymore. He already said goodbye to his ex-supporters of Monza, and probably said already hello to his new stadium, the Allianz Stadium, where he was at in the last game of Serie A 23-24 for Juventus. So Di Gregorio we start, and this one can also be the week of Riccardo Calafiori. Riccardo Calafiori, that I told you on the channel, if we need to start with someone, if there is one big priority, it is Ricky Calafiori. You need to go for him before even the midfielder, because it's a player that can play in a 3-man defense on the left side. He can play as a left back. He can play in a 4-man defense as a left center back. He has a left foot, and he already knows perfectly how Thiago Motta is playing. That's the, or one of the keys of Juventus 24-25, Riccardo Calafiori. It could possibly be his week. I also told you here on the channel, maybe I'm wrong, Calafiori could possibly be announced before even the coach. Let's wait and see if it will happen. Of course, Bologna, they are asking money for Calafiori. Between 25 and 30, much more than a few weeks ago. The performance of Ricky, they continue to increase. The competitors for Calafiori, they continue to increase. Knowing that they qualify for Champions League and they need also to keep players or to reinforce themselves, makes that the price increase. So Juventus talk already with Sartori, that is the sporting director of Bologna. He was there during Juve Monza. A lot of people were going with speculation. Is he there for Paladino, that he wants to bring it for the For the post Thiago Motta, he was there to discuss with Juve about Ricky Calafiori, but probably also to speak about some players that could go the other way around, continuing to play Champions League, maybe with more continuity. Who are the names that we are speaking about? Well, one is possibly Nicolussi Caviglia. I think that is extremely sad if this happened, because I love the player so much, but I believe that he deserves a lot more continuity that he had in the season 23-24. Another player that could possibly go there, that is at the moment on loan, is Barbieri. Probably the best fullback of second division, Serie B. He could also go there because they are really interested in him. Then there are other names. It's not over. Eh? There could be a Milik. a Milik. Strange bomba of Gazzetta dello Sport. Not that Bologna asked for it, but Juventus, the old lady, is offering Milik. They are saying, look, he can be really important for you. It's a starter for Bologna in all the competition that they will play next season. Of course, Bologna, it's not that at the moment they are the richest one. They can't go crazy. And the salary of Milik is probably at the moment out of proportion for Bologna. So let's monitor also that. Milik to Bologna, what would you say? Yes or no? Milik is not at the moment in the plans of Thiago Motta, not in the plans of Cristiano Giuntoli, and I believe the Polish player is absolutely aware about that. But there is also another name, a name that has been linked a lot of times with Monza. A lot of people were thinking Di Gregorio to Juve, and we go with Miretti to Monza to decrease also there the offer of 18 plus bonus million. No, or maybe yes. But there is also Bologna that is interested in Fabio Miretti. Again, also there, youth academy product that I would be super sad to see leaving Juve. But also there, if he could go in a Champions League team, playing with continuity, why not? Why not to decrease the offers? But I will tell you, it's not only these players that could possibly go there, not all of them, but one or two to decrease the price, but you can decrease the price until a certain amount. The biggest thing is, where will that money come from to invest on Calafiori? And now you will be pissed off, and now you will be sad. Well, the big name that could actually leave to make space and to bring cash to invest for Calafiori could be Dean Huijsen. Not only Dortmund is interested in the player, but also now Newcastle. So two big teams interested in the young Dutch-Spanish kid. Juventus, they made a decision. After knowing that they have possibly a Bremer that was requested essentially in the game of Thiago Motta, knowing that you have Rugani, that you have Gatti, probably even Danilo, that you go for Calafiori, probably at the moment you have too many players to play in a four-man defense, and someone could possibly leave. It is Dean Huijsen. Juventus would love to keep him on loan, well, at least owning the player, giving him on loan, but the family is pushing. The family of Dean Huijsen is really pushing to let him play and probably to have certainties about his future, and at the moment looks like Juventus, they decided. Another young player that could possibly leave, a young player that we would have loved to see at Juventus more, and it's not over, but some sources like Fabrizio Romano are saying Solé could possibly leave. After a fantastic season of 11 goals, 3 assists that were not enough to save from relegation Frosinone, well, he has big chances to leave Juventus. For what? Because Juventus is not only looking for money to Calafiori, but they're also looking money for a big midfielder that at the moment they are still pushing for. It is Koopmeiners. And they have an opportunity, Juventus, because if they already went with an offer of 40 million plus 5 of bonus, and Atalanta asked for 60, that price, that requesting price can probably go lower. Why? Because one of the big one in the run for Koopmeiners looks like they are taking themselves a bit out of the race. Liverpool is not anymore that much interested in Koopmeiners. That's one big competitor less for Juventus. So that price of 60 could possibly drop. And if you have money from a Huijsen, if you have money for a Soulé, you are a bit financially stronger for one of the players that has been followed since more than 1 year now by Cristiano Giuntoli. Who are the players that are untouchable at Juventus for Cristiano Giuntoli? For Thiago Motta, well, we see it in Gazzetta dello Sport, of course, it's a big one, Kenan Yildiz, that are still discussion, will he have the 10 or not, but this is a detail. The most important thing is that he will be part of that Juventus with much more continuity that we saw in this year. In his first season, we see Bremer, we see Fagioli that is back, and what a way to be back. He will maybe be a protagonist in Euro 24 with Italy. and then a Cambiaso that has been extended. Then there is one that is not on the picture here, but that could possibly be an untouchable. It is Rabiot. The only problem is that at the moment, it's not Juventus that is deciding the future of Rabiot, but it's Adrien and his entourage. Will they continue with Juve or not? Will they accept an offer that is a bit lower in terms of financial aspect, but giving them a lot to Rabiot, all the competition that he can play, playing under someone that he knows really well, that is Thiago Motta? Well, that will be a key decision. These players are out of touch. Now, you didn't see a big name there. You didn't see Federico Chiesa, that has been on the papers, on social media since now 2 days, since Di Marzio said that he is not an untouchable for Thiago Motta. Well, Federico Chiesa. And Tuttosport, after everything that I already told you about the whys, and I know that you are pissed off, and I understand emotionally the reaction that you have, well, Tuttosport is going not with emotions, but a bit more with analysis. Motta, how can you use Chiesa in your team? What is the idea of Thiago Motta with Chiesa? Are they matching? Chiesa, look how Motta wants you to play. That is different. The football tactic analyst Adriano Bacconi, that wrote the book the Juve of Antonio Conte, fantastic book about tactics, one that is really an expert of tactics in Italy. Well, he gave his way and he said, pay attention, we will make the comparison with Odgaard and Doye, not comparing the player. Federico Chiesa is much better than Odgaard and Doye, but how were these players used in the Bologna 23-24, and how was Juve using Federico Chiesa in 23-24? Well, the first things are the stats. What can we see here? Chiesa, velocity in defensive phase, 7.3 km per hour. If you're looking at Odgaard, it's 8.5, Doye 7.1. So we see players, especially Odgaard, much faster in defensive phase. Offensive phase, with and without the ball, of course, 6.4 for Chiesa, and that's the huge difference. With Odgaard 8.8 and with Ndoye 7.4. So two players that are faster in defensive phase if you are taking the average, but especially in offensive phase. And then the most important one, the availability, being available to receive the ball. 66% for Chiesa, 73% for Odgaard, 71% for Doye. You will tell me, Beppe, but Juventus of Allegri didn't play well. Juventus of Allegri was not using Federico Chiesa well. It is because of the numbers of Allegri, the way of playing of Allegri, that Chiesa is probably not taking into, or is not matching the numbers of a Thiago Motta. With Thiago Motta, he will also reach these numbers. It's true, partially, because we see it, how fast Bologna was playing. They were playing when they had the ball, when they were managing, when they were building at a 20 km per hour, while Juventus 16 only. That's a huge, big difference. And also, in defensive transition, Bologna was recuperating the ball or chasing the ball at a 12.5 km per hour, while Juventus was there at a 9.9. So you are partially correct. But the biggest thread, the biggest reason probably why Thiago Motta doesn't see a Federico Chiesa working perfectly in his team is the heat maps, the way of playing, the behavior on the field. Why we see here the heat map of Federico Chiesa, that is a player actually with only one red dot there on the left of the field. We see that when the team is really low, Federico Chiesa goes on the left waiting for the ball there. When Juventus is in possession of the ball, Federico Chiesa is really wide on the left, and then only when the team from the other side has the ball, Juventus, then he goes more centrally, what we see on that green map, where do we see the dot number 7. While you're looking at the other two players, Odgaard and Doye, you see that these players in non-possession of the ball, they go a lot in sacrificing into the center of the field, leaving, when they recuperate the ball, leaving actually the wings to the left back and right back, to the right man defense. If we know that a lot of time, and Kostic and Chiesa, they were overlapping on that left side of the field, because Chiesa remained there on the left waiting for the ball, and when we were in possession, there was absolutely no way that it was Kostic that was going there. Well, we can see that Chiesa is not doing the movements of that. Of course, there is a big word, a super important word. Federico Chiesa, as we love him, is a player of instinct. That's the word. Instinct player. A player that goes with it. While on the other side, we have an extremely disciplined tactical coach a la Thiago Motta. And that's where maybe the people that were asking for offensive patterns, for way of playing, for automatic things, for things that we see on the field in the weekend that has been trained in training session, well, probably it's not matching actually with the idea of Thiago Motta that says, I have here an instinctive player that is not matching with my discipline of tactic, with my sacrifice of tactic. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why Federico Chiesa is not matching the idea of Thiago Motta. Does that mean now pay attention? Does that mean that Thiago Motta doesn't want Federico Chiesa? No. Does that mean that he will have no hope, that he's obliged to go and leave? No, absolutely not. Thiago Motta will arrive at Juve. When he will meet Federico Chiesa there, they will speak with each other. He will train him. He will see him. They will have a confrontation. And maybe Federico Chiesa will be matching much more than Doye, than Odegaard, and all the players, the idea of football of Thiago Motta, and it will be a fantastic world where I would love to see Federico Chiesa on top of Juventus with the Scudetto, with the Champions League, with whatever. It would be fantastic. But at the moment, these are the things why. Now, there is Liverpool on the player, on Federico Chiesa. There is Liverpool on the player, and Juventus could think about letting him go. Why? Because he has one more year of contract. And who could be one of the alternatives? It could be Gudmundsson. Why Gudmundsson, you will tell me, Pepe? It's not the same player. Well, in that idea of 2-7-2 of Thiago Motta, 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, look at the big position that Gudmundsson could possibly play. He could play there, behind the striker, behind Dusan Vlahovic, instead of a Zirkzee, where the requests are quite high. But he also can play on the left and can play on the right. So it's a player that is super polyvalent. But look at the stats of Gudmundsson. 35 games in Serie A this season, 14 goals and 4 assists. He can be a top player, especially if we come back and we close the video going back to that initial Opta lineup. Look at that. I repeat you. Di Gregorio, Bremer, Calafiori, Bastoni, Bellanova, Cianaloglu, Koopmeiners, Di Marco, Pulisic, Gudmundsson, Lautaro. How many of these players, the best of Opta, are at Juventus at the moment? Bremer. Who is the player that Thiago Motta said, oh wait, don't put him on the market, don't sacrifice him, I want to keep him? It is Bremer. That is in that Opta. Who could be the next goalkeeper of Juventus? It is Di Gregorio. Di Gregorio that is there, and we are already there. Who can be an additional defender of Juventus? It can be Calafiori, and we have 3. Who is the player that we are studying for more than 1 year? It is Koopmeiners that is in that top 11. Who is the player that now they are putting on the papers? And why not is really an objective of Cristiano Giuntoli. It is Gudmundsson. Half of that Opta team could possibly be the Juventus of 24-25 in a 4-2-3-1. What does that tell us? That Juventus, not only they go with gut feeling, but they have a plan, a strategy. They are also looking at numbers. Much more than the dribble, the highlights and skill that we see on YouTube that are fantastic and a joy for the entertainment. They are also looking at stats and what they can bring in a team. Not the names, not the wow names on the market, not the ones that you hope to unpack in these Panini or Top Sport things, but the ones that are there on the Opta stats. Important, crucial, vital stats, not only to make a Juventus of names, but a Juventus that is performing as a team much better than what we saw in the last 2 years. And one of the new names that is not there in that Opta stat, but probably was there a few years ago, is Di Lorenzo. That is another objective of Juventus. I told you, Juventus, Cristiano Giuntoli, Thiago Motta, clear ideas, which I personally really love and can't wait to see on the field. Grazie Juventini, I hope you enjoyed that one. That was, according to me, an extremely important and fantastic video to start 24-25 with. Grazie, forza, Juve.